But the bad news for the nation is that they've signed me up to a new record deal. So it's the agony still continues.
Welcome to WatchMojoUK, and today we're counting down our picks for the most awkward moments on BBC Breakfast.
Before we begin, we publish new content every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos.
Have you spoken to the Prime Minister recently in the last 24 hours?
Why? Why are you asking me that question?
Number 10, Lewis Capaldi.
I'm surprised you're allowed to show that before the watershed.
There was nothing bad to see there.
Well, thank you. All good stuff.
Singer-songwriter Lewis Capaldi arrived on the red sofa back in 2022 to be interviewed by mainstay presenters Charlie Stayt and Naga Munchetty, and things quickly took a weird turn. He wasted no time in starting to, apparently, flirt with Munchetty in front of the nation.
That's what you want to see with your breakfast.
Charlie was the first to laugh nervously at the beginning of the interview before they got onto more familiar footing by asking Capaldi about his latest music video for Forget Me.
Well, you've got great hair too. Yeah, I see you. Oh, look at that.
There you go.
That very rarely happens. That very rarely happens.
Throughout the rest of the interview, Capaldi is charming, warm, and explains his inspirations, until making the fatal error of mishearing something Munchetty said after he moved on to flirting with Charlie instead.
Would you like a rim?
Would what?
Would you like a rim?
I thought you said a rim. Jeez.
The time now. We're coming up to 9 o'clock.
Number 9. Humans on Mars.
And can you look interested? I'll look this way. Which camera?
Sounds on Mars actually sound different to those same ones on Earth, as Charlie decided to explain to Naga one morning following an interesting news story. However, something about the story reduced Munchetty to fits of laughter.
What, a 4? No, I wanted a single because I think we just need to remove. There we are. The interesting thing you'll be asking at home is...
Most likely it was Charlie's very serious attitude about the news item, as he sternly told her off for not being interested enough in what he was saying. She just couldn't keep it together, and Stayt told the camera operators to switch to another camera so that she wasn't in the frame.
So the effect of that is, one, you wouldn't hear the voice. You wouldn't hear the voice as quickly. It would take a while to travel, and also it would be quite a bit quieter.
Didn't really help though, as her laughter remains clearly audible even when she's off screen, as he tries to power through the segment for the viewers at home.
It's nice when people pay attention, isn't it, what you're saying? It really is. Have you got a story?
Number 8. The Wrong Guest. In 2016, ex-soldier Leslie Binns attempted to summit Mount Everest, but had to stop and turn back while he neared the peak to save somebody's life, which he did successfully.
But he's now attempting to scale the world's highest mountain again. He's going back and joins us now in the studio ahead of his next mission. Good morning.
I think you have the wrong guest, sir.
He was brought onto BBC Breakfast to talk about this achievement, only for them to have got their items mixed up. They talked extensively about Binns, only to turn around and find Todd Landman, a political correspondent.
Ah, you are Todd Landman, aren't you? Do you know, it's ever so funny.
You look so heroic.
I looked at this man, I thought, he doesn't necessarily look like a mountaineer.
John Kay was far too confident about introducing the wrong guest, while Rachel Burden said she suspected it when she looked at him next to her on the sofa.
I tell you what, we will talk to Leslie Binns a little bit later on.
Fine.
Todd, we definitely want to talk to you about what's going on in America at the moment.
Yes.
Who made the mix-up? It's not clear, but somebody let him get all the way to the sofa and then queued up the wrong words for John and Rachel. Number 7. Tight at the bottom. This time, Naga managed to keep it together a bit better than during the Mars incident, and she had something much funnier to set her off.
Never known it so tight at the bottom. What else?
We've also got Robbie Savage and John Hartson on the Football Focus. Sorry.
Following a news segment, Mike Bushell made a comment that was misconstrued as being something very risque indeed. They moved on to Dan Walker giving updates on the football, while Naga slowly lost composure on the other side of the sofa.
What's happened? I've had something.
We've got those two on the programme. We've also got... you made me forget everything now.
It seemed Bushell and Stayt weren't clear on exactly what had caused Naga's laughing fit, blaming Walker for it, even though it was the ever-oblivious Bushell who made the inappropriate comment. Honestly, we can't blame her. Even Walker was slipping.
You always do it, Dad. You always set Naga off. It's great.
He sits there all calm and collected.
It's a friendly face.
There's an effect on people.
Sorry, I'll go away now.
Number 6. Sir David Attenborough. In this embarrassing interview, it looked like the link-up wasn't working properly, as they kept talking over each other.
Now, we can't talk to you, Sir David. Please continue.
Yes? Yes?
Attenborough was on to support and explain the world's biggest butterfly count in 2018, encouraging people to embrace the wildlife they see. But then she steered the conversation away from butterflies to plastics, and whether Attenborough had brought up his environmental concerns about plastic pollution with Her Majesty.
Because obviously Prince Charles, her son, has been a great advocate of helping the environment. It's an issue that does appear to be held closely to the royal family's heart.
That's as maybe, yes.
He clearly didn't want to talk about it at all, so Munchetty tried to move on to asking about the RSS Sir David Attenborough instead, which you probably remember better as Boaty McBoatface.
Was that a significant moment for you?
Yes, it was.
And how did you feel when you saw it launch?
It was a very moving occasion.
He only wanted to talk about the butterflies, and things got very awkward for the rest of the segment. Number 5, James Blunt.
Were the women happy in that karaoke bar? Because, you know, it was a girls' night out and you barged in.
I think, yeah, probably horrified. You're right. Had a random night.
Don't do it again.
In fairness, James Blunt is often very awkward, and is now well known for the self-deprecating humour he's shown on other interviews and on Bake Off. This time, Charlie Stayt was being the more uncomfortable of the two interviewers, asking Blunt what he does to stay young, with Blunt saying it's all the plastic surgery.
As you well know, some people will think that's a double bluff.
It's not, no. I don't know where to go from here.
Okay, we've stopped.
Munchetty moved on to asking him a lot of very strange questions about his tour bus, how big the bus is, where it's parked, and so on, and proceeded to judge him for calling an Uber to get back.
Is your big tour bus outside our studio?
It's just moved off to the venue now. I'm going to get an Uber back.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I am.
It was a very odd way to tackle a promotional interview for Blunt's tour, that's for sure. Number 4, James McCartney. Another interview, this time it was James McCartney, Paul McCartney's youngest, promoting his debut solo album, Me, in 2013.
When did you start playing music, though?
When did I start playing music? When I was about 5, specifically when I was about 20.
Obviously they wanted to ask him about his father and his influence in the album and on James's career, though he didn't seem to want to answer any of Bill Turnbull and Susanna Reid's questions in detail, no matter what they were about.
I thought kind of, I'm not going to be oppressed by certain things, so I'm just going to carry on and just do my own thing,
Yeah.
When they started asking him about his dad, he became even more withdrawn, not liking Reid's implications that music was a family business. He also didn't get that Turnbull was making a joke when he asked who Paul McCartney is.
There's somebody on the credit list credited with vocals, guitar and drums called Paul McCartney. Who's he?
Oh, he's my father.
And did he take a lot of persuading to get involved?
Number 3, license fee. While reporting a piece about the rising cost of ice cream, correspondent Nina Warhurst found herself questioned about an entirely different issue, the TV licence fee.
Yes, I'm treating myself to an ice cream cone shortly, but Claire's prices have gone up to £3.50 for a single cone.
Ever controversial as people become more disillusioned with the Beeb, this member of public was on a one-man mission to get the licence fee abolished live on air.
Excuse us for one moment. Okay.
Why don't the anti-British
What we're going to do is go to our colleague Ellen Davis. She's been in Lampeter in Wales.
He appeared and started heckling Warhurst while she merely tried to buy an ice cream cone in Salford as an indicator of inflation, shouting about how the BBC needed to have its funding axed. Plenty of people don't want to pay the licence fee anymore, but maybe harassing a pregnant woman live on telly isn't the best way to make yourself heard.
Talking about how not only prices are going up, but also how a reduction in the choices of flavours.
There is a lot of demand for an ice cream this morning.
Number 2, Nadine Dorries. This absolutely bizarre interview aired very early one morning as Partygate was first brought to light, with Tories turning court and demanding that Boris Johnson resign.
I'd like to know.
We've communicated.
In the midst of all this, his most loyal acolyte, Nadine Dorries, was sent to answer Charlie Stayt's most difficult questions, such as whether she'd spoken to the Prime Minister recently. Thank God he didn't ask her a really hard question, like whether she'd ever met him, or what a party is, because we can only begin to imagine how she would have crumbled.
What has he communicated to you?
Well, I'm not going to tell you the extent of my communications with the Prime Minister.
It was absolutely baffling, and a miracle that Dorries has continued to have a career in the media after leaving senior politics, given how poorly she performs on camera.
I'd say his mood was very, very positive, extremely positive.
Number 1, ice cream. Another ice cream related gaffe. This has got to be one of the weirdest things to ever happen live on the BBC. Hannah Miller was sent to Nantwich to report on an ice cream factory during the hot weather in July 2022, teaching the public all about how this delicious cold treat is made.
That was really good. It's definitely not too early. I bet you wish you were here now.
I don't like ice cream, Hannah.
When Hannah made a simple joke about how Naga and Charlie were missing out, Munchetty responded in the most bizarre way possible by talking about how she's apparently the only person in the world who doesn't like ice cream.
You don't like ice cream,
No.
but you just said pistachio.
If I had to eat an ice cream for the rest of my life, it would be pistachio flavour, but I don't like cold food.
Hannah was new to the job at the time, and this was called out on air by Charlie as being a very rude way to welcome her to the BBC breakfast fold.
Do you think you rather brought the tone down then?
Oh,
by
be
saying-
quiet, come on.
Well, but Hannah
I
was,
apologise.
She was working hard, doing the story, and then...
Let us know in the comments who your favourite BBC breakfast presenter is.
Do you like brownies?
Not so much.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from WatchMojoUK and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.